They can be in. They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
That was a Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just so different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-24 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from the Fox Chapel Racket Club in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, bringing you the Steel City Classic, which is the 8th stop on the 2023-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors Volley and Fusion, and local sponsors PNC, PJ Dick Trumbull, the Lindy Group, and Xenon. I am Anthony Casamano, along with Dave Broderick, bringing you the men's semifinal match with Russell Benkaim and Chris Humphreys versus Czerwinskl and Graham McNerney. Welcome, Dave. We see our players warming up today. Can you give us a little background on who's on the court and how they got there?
I can, Anthony, and thank you for having me this evening. On the far side, or the top of your screen to the left, that is Graham McNerney in a blue top with a green headband. And to the right of the screen, that is Czerwinskl, also wearing a blue top right now with a blue hat. And on the bottom of the screen to the left, wearing his hat backwards with a green top, is Russell Benkaim. And to the right, with a gray shirt and black hat, is Chris Humphreys.
Great. I think we have a graphic of the draw. If you could just walk us through a little bit of how these two teams made it here.
Absolutely. Benkaim Humphreys made it through, relatively, I don't want to say easy, but pretty routine, taking down Baxter Burns, Hagman Murphy, and a big win over Tomas Christian and Eric West, the number 2 seeds. Czerwinskl McNerney, the number 4 seeds, had an easy going in the first round against Ballett and Ullman, and then Kalkman and Smith, and then they had a tough 3-setter that they pulled out against Hansen and Hirsch, which brings us to the semifinals match that we're about to watch.
Okay, great. And just so we know here, the main draw is regular scoring, best out of two out of 3 sets, and the umpire for today's match is John Ma. It looks like we're just about to start. So we're running a little bit behind today, but it looks like a quick warm-up. And we have a little strategy session before we start the match.
And this will be interesting, Anthony. This will be interesting because Russell and Chris just kind of came together. Russell's partner, Mitch Granger, he was supposed to play with, has an injury, and so Russell was able to get Chris to play. And on the other side of it, McNerney and Czerwinskl have played several times together. They were partners for many years, so this should be an interesting match to watch.
We have a lot of backhand offense coming out of the Humphreys-Benkaim court. We have a lot of patience and I will say strategy and strategic play from McNerney's side of the court, and it's going to be interesting to see how those two mix together.
It'll be interesting to see when Humphreys and Benkaim are at the net, because both players can give you a variety on their overhead. They're both very good volleyers, and they can really put a lot of heavy spin on the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how they work that out. Anthony, it'll be interesting to see how Benkaim plays. He's definitely has the least experience of all three players, although he is, you know, a new and up-and-coming player. You know, the other three players on the court have all been here and done that before, so it'll be interesting how he handles this situation and the pressure and, you know, playing in front of a big crowd. And, you know, so far he seems pretty at ease.
Yeah, he looks pretty comfortable out there, and you're right. I think he's played with a number of different players with varying success. I think he's ranked right around the 30 mark with Duncan Miller, and he's played, I think, with Mitch Granger a bunch, and ranked up at number 36. So he's had some success, but yes, not at this level. So it'll be a little bit different to see if he can keep his nerves and this level of competitiveness under control in his head. But he definitely looks comfortable right now.
Come back. It's good pizza. Come here.
And I'll say on McNerney's side of the court, he has no shortage of different types of overheads. He's going to keep a lot of pressure, a lot of different spin, a lot of different pace variety, moving the ball left and right.
Yeah, I think whoever's the net, it's just going to come down to, you know, who doesn't set the other player up or the other team up for a big shot. We see here right in the first game, Czerwinskl, McNerney coming back from a 15-40 down situation to bring it back to deuce. And, you know, the thing about them is they're really not going to give many easy points. They're going to make you work for all your points, make you hit all your shots, and they're not going to give too much away.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the theme we see today.
And I think right there we just saw where something that could happen quite a bit is Czerwinskl with the big forehand. We know he's got one of the biggest in the game, and McNerney blitzing, or at least showing blitz to put a little bit of pressure on the net team. And, you know, you saw Humphreys miss a volley there.
And another one. 2 in a row right to Noddick's forehand. So I think they're going to keep that ball away from him on that side. He likes to hit that ball. Reminds me very much of Chris Gambino. He hits that ball from high to low. He likes to take it high. Deadly shot.
Interesting first game, up 40-15 on the serve, and Czerwinskl, McNerney come back to win that first one.
Noddick's going to serve the second game. The weather out there must be nice. We see 3 out of 4 teams wearing shorts.
And you see a slash spin overhead there by Graham McNerney to win the point.
Come on back, come on back.
I think for Humphreys and Benkaim on the baseline, I think Russell's going to have to look to drive some of those forehands that are down the middle, and I think that will allow Chris Humphreys to really sit on his backhand, which he loves hitting.
Right.
See the speed of Benkaim there on the drive and blitz.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about how his comfort level coming into this match, and he looks very comfortable. He's playing just the right mix of aggressive paddle. He's looking for shots. When you're comfortable when you're hitting that backhand, one-handed backhand kind of chip shot down the line there. So he's not tight at all starting off this match.
Yeah, Anthony, I'm lucky to get to see him play quite often, as he is an assistant pro over at Fiddler's Elbow here in New Jersey. So it's exciting to see him here on the live stream. And I have seen him play since September live. So it is, in the league matches, it's fun to watch what he can do.
For sure. And I had the unfortunate experience playing him in Montclair in the rain, and with James Glenn, my partner for that tournament, and that was tough with all the spin coming out of there on a wet court. So yeah, there's a lot of different looks. And there he is, aggressive blitz. He's really moving well.
Yeah, no, that's the third point he's won in this game on blitzing. Just
yeah.
As I tell everyone, you can't teach 23 years old. How does he do it? Well, he's 23.
He's 23. When you get Graham to shake his head at the net because he loves to volley, you've started off pretty well. He loves to be challenged at the net, Graham McNerney, and he's not quite settled into his comfort zone yet. Graham is a very creative player, and he likes to blitz, and he likes to creep into the court now and then. But that looked a little uncharacteristic how he rushed into that shot.
Yeah, a big part of his game is right. He likes to keep you off balance, thinking about what is he going to do, and he definitely doesn't let you settle in and stay calm when you're playing against him.
Exactly. You're always wondering what he's up to. He's creeping in. He's creeping out. He's false stepping, and great get by Benkaim in the corner there.
And I think that's the setup they're going to want to look for. Benkaim lobbing the ball down the line, and Humphreys looking to hit that two-hander of his.
I've played Chris a lot in the league. We play in the same league, and he's amazingly patient. He's got so many different shots. He does love his backhand, but he can be so patient. And if they keep that combination together, because clearly they're playing Benkaim a lot more in that ad corner, but But if Chris gets an opportunity to step in there, he's still being selective in the shots he's taking. He's waiting for that backhand.
You just see how close Graham gets on the net anytime he thinks there's going to be a drive at him. He's right in the middle of the court on the net.
Right, that's he loves being at that net volley. Great return.
All right, Anthony, in our other semifinal match between Broderick Kaler, Rams Wagner, it looks like they're headed to a third set.
Wow. Quick 2 sets, right?
Yeah, Broderick Kaler won the first set 6-1. Rams Wagner came back to win 6-3 in the second.
Wow. Okay, we'll try to keep you posted on those scores. And I think the link to the scoring system has been posted on the chat for the live streaming. So if you're out there following along, you can actually follow the score point by point at Court Director.
Come on back. You go. All day. All you. Hey, sorry. Yep.
I mean, we're here.
Couple of big ground strokes there from the baseline from Humphreys and Benkaim, getting an error out of Czerwinskl there.
Back edge.
And the first loose point we've seen. If this these first 2 games are any indication of the match, it's very, very surgical approach so far. Everything's been high percentage shots, a lot of patience, and there's
even
Humphreys' favorite shot.
Even early on watching, you know, Humphreys and Benkaim have won a lot of points. Czerwinskl, McNerney have actually won all the big points. And,
Right.
you know, that's kind of why we're still here in the second game. Which is not a surprise. Again, Czerwinskl and McNerney have played a lot of big-time matches. Always one of the higher-ranked teams in the country when they play together. So you would expect that from them.
Almost a great recovery there by Benkaim. They worked him in the corner well. Back to deuce. McNerney looked like he got caught off guard, sleeping a little bit. Turned his head. He turned back to look, right? So when we talk about blitzing and keeping your eyes forward, he turned around to look a little bit, and he got caught by the blitz.
You see how he gets on top of that net again?
Exactly. Yeah, it's very Johan Durant-like, where when he's really looking for it, he commands, he controls that net so well. He stands right on top of it, it seemingly can cover the whole net. You get the sense that you can't get it by him when he's in that mode.
And so far early on, we're still seeing a pretty slow pace of play, which I think this is how all four players kind of are going to want to play this match. So I don't see an advantage in the pace of play so far to anyone.
Either do I. Very disciplined for the most part. For a very, very long game. We've had a few unforced errors, but everything's been very buttoned up.
Good setup there, just a little bit late on that swing. But I think, you know, through the course of time, that's the ball Czerwinski's looking for.
That's a hot mic. Hey, George. Hi, Katie. That was good.
Great dig by Graham. Just, yeah, no, that just floated a little bit long. Had Benkaim Humphreys.
I'll tell you, even though it was only the second game, that was kind of a big game for Humphreys and Benkaim, only because they had a lot of opportunities to win the game. They had a lot of game points, and, you know, after as well as they played for 2 games, to be down 2-love, that, you know, that would have been maybe possibly hard to come back from.
And you can tell they felt it with the emotion at the end of that last point there. I think they understood that as well. When you fight that hard in a game and you can win it, it's a big mental victory. It really gives you that momentum.
And even from just watching this on the early stage of the match, like, I don't think McNerney and Czerwinskl can just let Humphreys and Benkaim bring the match to them, because they are very explosive and they have a lot of weapons. You know, I still think Czerwinskl and McNerney are going to have to play their game, and you know, I don't think they're going to get a lot of free, easy points. As we see Benkaim throwing a fault there.
Hey.
Watch. 30-15.
And you see on the serve, Benkaim will give you a variation. He serves overhand, he serves underhand with a roller type serve. So he kind of keeps you off guard with that.
Wait. One. You help.
Benkaim and Humphreys are doing a really good job this game in really changing the looks. There's very little comfort in the backcourt there for McNerney and Czerwinskl. They're moving left and right. They're up and back.
Short.
And I think when Benkaim and Humphreys are at the net, you know, I don't think Czerwinskl and McNerney are going to win by hitting better, more quality shots. I think they're going to win by hitting more quantity of shots.
That was quick, being up 40-15 to being now down and out. A couple of missed shots by Chris Humphreys and 2 faults that game. Yeah, they weren't able to consolidate that break. That's a tough one because they felt like they had some momentum going into that third game and got up 40-15, and just a couple, you blink, you let down your guard for a second, and the momentum switches a little.
And this is a game where you get a break a serve. You know, you really want to hold to sort of create a little bit of separation because, as we all know, how fast the momentum can switch. I mean, you're just watching that game. You know, the last 4 points of the game were less shots than the first 2 points of the game.
And that's exactly to your point, right? It's not like they're going to hit. It's more quantity, not necessarily different quantity, right? Quality.
Yeah.
You just want
no,
to
absolutely.
keep the points long for sure. The spin overhead right into the body of Benkaim, tough to handle. So just deep.
And again, I think even in the game, you know what? Chris Humphreys hits a great lob. Benkaim looks for that short backhand and wins the point. You know, now they have to play a really good point here and hopefully capitalize on that. And no sooner I say that than we get a missed return of serve.
It's almost always the way it works, but Graham is he's hitting through that serve. Seems to be a harder serve than I remember him hitting. He's really trying to take away Benkaim's ability to drive that first ball.
Anthony, as you know as well as anyone at this level, you can't trade points. You just trading points isn't a good way to go about it.
No.
I mean, and luckily for both teams, they're each trading points.
Mm-hmm.
But as we talk about, Anthony, trading points, you find in the last 5 years of the game, more players are willing to risk losing points to try to win points.
I tend to agree with that. As the ability for players to just generate more different types of shots. They all have aggressive overheads. They have aggressive drop shots, aggressive slashes. I think they are willing to put a little bit more high risk to be able to end a point, right? There's very few ways in paddle that you can end a point. And if you can risk a little bit more, just like we saw from Graham right there, McNerney, you take a little bit more risk, and maybe you win 3 of those and you only lose 1, and it ends up in your favor. So I do feel that way.
Yeah! Right here, man. Come on!
That's a little bit of the risk you're talking about. Chris Humphreys really went for that spike there.
And again, they won the last point, really good setup, and then, maybe just a little impatient there.
Yeah.
I got it. Go. Go, go, go. Help, come back. Go to the edge, go to the edge.
Just deep. Ernie's finding that corner on almost every serve. It's interesting that Benkaim is choosing to let it go to the screen.
Yeah, he's really taken away the forehand return of Benkaim.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of work for that game.
And again, I think,
3-1.
we're 3-1. We're back to what we said before, that, Humphreys, Benkaim are winning a lot of good points, but they're also giving away a lot of easy points.
Hot mic, George.
So it's definitely one of those matches where, you're in every point, you're in every game, and it's the team that just plays the bigger points a little better that will end up on top, and that's what we're seeing. I mean, right, we've had 3 really long games. Could have gone in either direction, but right now, Czerwinskl and McNerney are just playing the big points just a little better.
Right, and again, as close of a match as it's been, it's 3-1 on the scoreboard.
Yep.
One.
So an around the post and picked it up off the deck. What an exchange. Yeah, that's a kick your paddle kind of point. Great point. Drop shot around the post. McNerney's waiting for it.
That was a great get by Czerwinskl.
And Czerwinskl short hops the lob right over their head. What a great point. And Chris Humphreys has an angry serve that turns out to be effective.
I'll see you guys.
I don't know how McNerney anticipated that shot.
You know, and that's the interesting thing about this, where, you know, they lost the point 3 times, but here they are still in it.
Hey, no. You know, we talk about trading points and we talk about, you know, flashy shots, but it still comes down to unforced errors in this game. It's still a game of errors. You play those long points and you end up, you know, lobbing a ball out or just not controlling a ball that you may have been able to. It's amazing.
Right. Anthony, in our other semifinal, we have Broderick and Kaler leading Rams and Wagner 2-1 in the third set.
So the third set slows down. The pace slows down a little.
That's it. I guess they're going back to playing Broderick ball.
It was bound to happen.
Isn't that like basketball or football? What do they say? You take the air out of the ball?
Yes. That one snowboard to snowboard, and McNerney couldn't quite get underneath that one. So here we have an ad for Benkaim and Humphreys. Big game for them.
Here we go. Go back.
Yeah, and I
How
think
long Graham held that ball. He waited. And, you know, to win a point here and there, you really need to bring something unexpected. And when you're playing at this caliber, almost everything is expected. So to get someone a misstep, hold that ball a little bit longer, Benkaim just, you know, leaned a little bit too forward into that volley.
And I think once the ball comes off that screen down the middle, you know, slightly, I think with Graham, that's the one he's going to attack. He's going to attack the ball off the screen more than he's going to attack the ball off the deck on his forehand.
Sure, for sure. And he could do it right at that point. He could have done anything with it. And that was the difference is he could have lobbed it, he could have driven it, and he waited long and made them commit to the net.
And again, it's pretty interesting in this match where you see, you know, Benkaim and Humphreys definitely have had a much bigger array of shots. You know, McNerney and Czerwinskl are just, you know, they're letting them win or lose points. You know, they're just going with the quantity over quality theory.
And for all of the big forehands out there, the forehand drive, the big forehand drive from Matic that we're seeing there, the big forehand drive from Benkaim, those aren't the shots that win the points. Right? These guys are such good volleyers that you have to be a lot more creative than just a hard drive.
I think to your point, the speed has to be right, the placement has to be right.
All day here. Bailey.
Pretty good exchange there from Benkaim to win the game, and it's 2-3. Hey, Anthony, did you know Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA as the first all-enabled training experience? Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic systems for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practices. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today. For more information, visit getvolley.com. Anthony, it's quite a piece of machinery. Have you seen it? Have you used it?
Yeah, well, we are a lucky, or I should say fortunate. Brookside has 2 Volley machines. We have had tremendous sign-ups and subscriptions. We have a lot of people very interested in using it. I've used it a lot myself. It can reproduce really any shot in paddle. So it's a very useful tool. It works very well alongside the pros, right? We teach some techniques, and then there's no better way to get hundreds of reps honing those techniques and skills with by using the Volley machine. So we're enjoying it very much at our place.
And again, you're seeing here Benkaim. He's had a lot of success when he's been moving in and
He has,
creating those hand-to-hand, volley-to-volley action points.
Yeah, I didn't think that's what we would see from him coming into this match, frankly. And he's dictated a lot of the pace in this match, and to their benefit, right? He's been key in keeping this match close so far. Very casual forehand volley from McNerney there. That was quite amazing. That caught the line. Benkaim stepping in on everything. He's really looking for a lot of offense here. Nice to have a lefty cover you on that overhead.
Yep. And Anthony, for everyone out there watching, they should stay tuned at the conclusion of this match because we will have a women's semifinal match coming up after this is completed, correct?
That is the plan. Do we have any weather? Oh, what? That's a heck of a slice. Yes, I'm wondering if we have any weather coming into Pittsburgh. I know I'm out in New Jersey, and I know we're having some weather tomorrow. I don't know if it's passing through Pittsburgh on its way, so.
Right now, it's looking like, if I had to guess, it's about 60 degrees out there.
It certainly looks like it.
Beautiful, clear night.
Perfect paddle weather. Maybe even a little too warm to call it perfect paddle weather.
You can always tell the wind direction out there if you look at the smokestacks at Oakmont. World famous golf course.
I didn't know that.
Host to many U.S. Opens through the years.
What a great progression to the net there, and then he missed that one.
I think Graham was more happy that he got missed with the ball, then the ball was missed long.
You know? He didn't look concerned with any of those drives. He really didn't look concerned, though. And that, the bigger the drive, the smaller you make yourself, right? You don't go outside of your volley zone. When someone's driving that hard, the last thing you want to do is reach and poke and stab at the ball. You
Right.
just stay skinny, and if it's right at you, you volley it quietly. If it's away from your body, it's coming off the screen. It's going to be playable in most instances. So don't overplay that ball.
And even you watch the last couple of points, as we talked about earlier, I mean, it couldn't be any more true, where Czerwinskl and McNerney are down 15-40. Benkaim misses a long volley on a great play. I thought the play was great. He just missed a shot.
Right.
And then Czerwinskl comes back and hits the nick on the serve, and now it's 40-all.
Now it's 40-all. It's almost how every game has been going, right? We've seen a lot of 40-15s turn into deuces.
And I think for Humphreys and Benkaim, they've been playing out in front most of this match. They just have to figure out a way how to stay out in front.
Right, to close the games, right? To close those games. And against the shot like McNerney just hit, that deep spin overhead that bounces 6 inches from the baseline and almost doesn't make it up above the snowboard. Really hard to handle that ball.
All right, and Anthony, in the other semifinal match, Rams-Wagner up 3-2. Broderick and Kayla to serve.
Oh. And there's McNerney waiting at the net for that ball. I think I've heard this topic come up. Loose overhead. Looks like McNerney's pointing to the lights. Must have passed right through an LED light, and he just took his eye off it for a second. Back to deuce. But we talk about, risk reward in paddle, and how useful at this level are all of this extra work and the extra torque that all these players put into these overheads. With the spin and the variety, Graham's working awfully hard with these overheads, and 98% of them are very, very easy to handle. So
Right.
At what point does the wear and tear match the effectiveness of the shot? Or is it better to have a different approach for most of the overheads and then bring in the spin only when it really makes sense? I don't know.
Yeah, and I think for years, several years back when there weren't as many guys putting as much spin, that was sort of the mindset that, other than these two guys or three guys, everybody else is just wearing themselves out. But I think through the years, the more people are doing it, they're obviously getting more accustomed to doing it. And, fatigue is probably not going to be as big of an issue. We see there another great close by McNerney. I think for Humphreys and Benkaim, when they're on the baseline, any time that McNerney's on the net and Czerwinski's hitting the overheads, even if it's a drivable ball, they've got to be careful because Graham gets right on top of that net. He's hard to get the ball by.
He is. They're baiting. They're really baiting that situation, right? Graham wants to be there. He wants to see that ball driven at him so he can potentially do something and, step in and redirect it towards the side screen or take the pace off it or drop it. So it's a strategy that they're hopeful to get. And you're right, you don't want to play into that. If and I've played McNerney a number of times, and it's I don't want to try to drive that ball when I see him hovering right. When he's covering the net like that, it's really hard. But at the same time, you don't want to change your game from the baseline all that much either, as long as you're taking the right shots. So you can't stop driving. You just have to be a bit more selective.
Right, I think they probably have to spot them a little bit more. Maybe throw in a couple more lobs on balls that you would drive. So, maybe you get McNerney to not close the net.
Mm-hmm. And you have to keep him honest. Drive at him. Drive down the line. To make sure he can't always lean as far forward as
right. He's not necessarily sitting on something.
Exactly. Looked like it went wide. Good eye. Turn of serve goes out. 40-30 Benkaim serving.
It's also interesting to see McNerney and Czerwinskl on the baseline. Graham wants the ball going into the screen. He can create a lot off the screen. Where Czerwinskl, he wants to do everything off the deck. He's so comfortable, powerful, and explosive when he's taking that ball off the deck. So it's, mentally for Benkaim and Humphreys, they always have to not only be thinking about what shot they want to hit, but who they're hitting it at.
Sure. And I don't know, Matic looked a little, looks like you got tired with that game a little bit, frankly. He hit a one-handed topspin backhand drive and then jumped on a forehand drive that went long in about 3 strikes of the ball. I don't know if he just, this isn't the pace of the match that he's comfortable with right now.
And I think Benkaim and Humphreys, that was a big game for them, just because it was sort of a relatively quick and easy game. And they haven't had too many of those in this set. So, let's see if they can capitalize on that.
Dude. Come on.
You hear the energy coming out of Benkaim and Humphreys.
Yes. They sense this game is a big game here in this set too. After a really good game to get to 4-3.
I'm here. I got it. All you.
And I was sitting here thinking, love 30. I want to see them play a really good point here and get the
I
ball
know.
that they really want to hit.
I know, it almost came out of my mouth that I said, I don't think we're going to see an easy unforced error there. And you can see Humphreys is kicking himself. He knows that really wasn't the best shot to try that roller backhand drive right there. But you make that shot 9 out of 10 times. It wasn't a super risky shot, but why?
Right.
You know.
And there is always, and we know that there is always a fine line between playing too defensive and too offensive.
For sure.
Got it. No.
That went wide.
Yeah. No, I like the patience from Benkaim and Humphreys on that.
Absolutely. I think that's what's going to win this game for them. I think I saw a little bit of it last game with Mata getting a little impatient and Graham there with that overhead. I'm not saying he's wearing himself out physically, but when you're hitting those overheads, you wear yourself out mentally a little bit. It's just a lot. It's over and over and over again. And you try to do a little bit better and a little bit better to try to win the point, and you go wide.
And you're hitting them to try to force an error. And when you're not getting an error, it is mentally frustrating.
Yep.
Just for the record,
Volley
Graham
ball from the
McNerney he volleyed a slash overhead. He volleyed it.
Yeah, I know. You
Just
saw
for
that
everybody
like I
watching
did.
out there, your TV's not, playing tricks with you.
I know, it's like we just casually watched these points, and that was amazing. But that's a huge game there to bring it to 4-all. We're sensing the energy levels shifting, or if not shifting, becoming more solid in the favor of Benkaim and Humphreys. That's a big game. Let's see how McNerney and Czerwinskl balance that out in this game. Let's see if they change their patience a little bit.
Right back. Let's go.
Dave, I know, I'm sure you've played in your career, and I certainly have in my career, a lot of these really tough first sets. It's been a long first set, trading games back and forth. We're at 4-all. You're mentally tuned into this match. How likely is it that the team that wins this set wins the next set at 6-2? Right? I feel like, when you have a mental at this level, sometimes it's really hard to bounce back from that in the next set.
No, I agree with you. It's definitely tougher. And, when I first started playing, one of the big things the advice that I got was, if you win the first set, especially in a tough one, you almost have to, do less than what you did in the first set, because, the other team's going to tighten themselves up either, as well. They're not going to go for more mistakes because they can't afford to lose another set. So they're going to make adjustments, and most of those adjustments are just really keep more balls in play. So that's the easy physical part of it is, but the hard mental part is actually doing it. And I think Benkaim and Humphreys have to be careful here.
They are
digging a little bit of a hole.
Yeah, I think just a little bit. They're sensing, they're almost sensing the end of the set, and you can't do that, right? It's not even close. And they were very lucky to get an unforced error there to bring it back to do so. 30-all, huge point. Let's see if they can capitalize it here at 30-all. For all the spin overheads, just the soft one in towards the corner wins the point.
Straight ahead, no less.
Straight ahead.
where there's absolutely no angle.
think you can tell from McNerney's body language in this point. I think he's ready to play a long point. He looks like he's going to play half pace, half speed. He's going to really make sure nothing goes for free on this point.
Two really good overheads there by McNerney.
Yeah, two perfect ones. And that one sat up a little bit. Monarch's been looking for offense that whole point. He was looking for it.
Yeah, no, and he drove about 3 or 4, and I was sitting here thinking, I don't know if that's the best play of plan of attack is letting Madak hit forehands at you.
I know. And Maddox's his pace is perfect. Very deliberate stroke. He's not overhitting it. It's just making them make that volley. Wow.
I think this game...
It's one of the first times I've seen him do that.
Yeah, I think this game is more important for Benkaim and Humphreys to win.
Oh, I think so as well.
Especially because, they've had a ton of opportunities to win the game, and they've been ahead a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were just down 4-2. They have some good momentum on their side. If McNerney and Czerwinskl can stop that here, I think it tilts heavily back in their favor again.
I think if Czerwinskl, McNerney win this game, I would give, the set to them. I would think they can win the set. Whereas I think if, Benkaim and Humphreys win it, it's going to give them a better chance to win the set.
That's a tough one. That's just a little bit of a loss of concentration. McNerney works that corner so aggressively that you expend all your energy on the hard shots and you let up for a second and miss one of the easier ones. That didn't quite do what he wanted to do on that one. Well, there you have it, Dave. You called momentum switch. So let's see what happens with Czerwinskl and McNerney up 5-4.
And I'll tell you what, Humphreys, Benkaim, I mean, they're working hard. They had that one easy game. So out of 4 games, 3 of them have been really, grind out, winning wins of those games. And again, as of right now, Humphreys and Benkaim are leading, but unfortunately, Czerwinskl and McNerney are winning. They're winning all the big points when they're counting, and they're just kind of making sure they're hanging around so that when the opportunity does come for the big point, they're winning them.
It's a tough way to start this game here. But yeah, I don't know. Have there been? And I think there's been one game this set that didn't make it to deuce. I might be wrong there, but right, everything's been, just like you're saying, it's just winning the bigger points. Deuce add, playing that 1 point just a little bit better, and frankly, it's only slightly tilting in Czerwinskl and McNerney's favor right now. So
I'd be interested to see the stat of game points had and game points won.
Great back there.
Because I'm pretty sure that Benkaim and Humphreys may have had a game point in almost every game. Anthony, apparently in the other semifinal, there's a break in the action due to court maintenance issue. I guess there's a screen something happened to a screen on 2 of the courts. So they're looking for a court to head out to finish that matchup.
Wow, and what's the score? Did you get a score on that right now?
I believe it's 3-all in the third set.
Okay. So is this the second court that's now had a screen issue?
This is the second court. It is 3-all with Rams Wagner serving in the third set.
Okay. Not sure I've ever heard of this happening in tournament play, that we've had 2 courts that were rendered unusable because of people running into the screens.
Another good drive and blitz there by Benkaim. We haven't seen him do that in a couple of games. And again, I think he's been pretty successful with that strategy.
Again, I think he caught Graham peeking over his left. Right, just looked a little to his left to see where Matic was, and next thing you know, Benkaim was at the net.
And it's 15-30.
And again,
there we see him again.
Benkaim forced that. Yeah, he forced that error there for sure.
And even this game here, this point here, 15-40, I want to see them play a solid point. I don't want them to get defensive, but I don't want them to go for crazy drives. I just want them to hit the right shot and hit it solid. There's,
That's right. And how easy is it for us to say that from where we're sitting here? Don't overhit it. Don't underhit it. Don't get tentative. Don't swing too hard.
Right. Go for your shots. Aim for the middle of the court.
The action stops. Why? What happened? We know.
Did
what
they
happened.
call the around the post wide?
Or did he call the ball wide? I don't know. Where are we?
I don't think Humphreys called the ball wide. I think they originally called the around the post wide, but apparently it's in and it's 5-all.
It's 5-all. Okay. That was a big game there, and I will say, and you were saying it as the game was progressing, Benkaim won that game. He changed his approach just a little bit more aggressive. He had 2 blitzes that forced errors, and just the motion around the court created angles that Czerwinskl and McNerney didn't want to take. So, good for him stepping up in the moment. He looks, Russell Benkaim looks more comfortable now than he did, the first couple of games and throughout this whole set. He's really settling in nicely.
And I think, Anthony, we're seeing that more with, the newer paddle players that are emerging on the scene, the driving and blitzing and hand-to-hand exchanges. Johan was one of the first guys to really implement that along with Wanaraya, where they would hit the drive or the dink and then blitz behind it and really put a lot of pressure on you when you were at the net and, kind of unnerve you a little bit more than anything.
Sure.
All right, and Anthony, from that other semifinal, they're back in action. Broderick and Kalis serving 4-3 over Rams Wagner in the third set of our other semifinal. The 2 winners will take on one another tomorrow morning. I believe that's after the women's final, correct?
I believe so. Women's final is at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Men's immediately following.
Anthony, I'm going to say it now at 5-all. It seems like Benkaim and Humphreys are getting away with hitting balls to Czerwinski's forehand, and I'm going to say it at 5-all in the first set. I wouldn't use that as a long-term strategy. I've seen him play too many times, and
That ball was out. Really big game there. And, like I said, the energy level went up a few ticks from Benkaim, and they're riding that out for 2 games in a row. We'll see if McNerney and Czerwinskl can hold serve to stay and bring this to a tiebreaker.
And I'll tell you what, because I was the one that said if, Czerwinskl and McNerney won that 4-all game, I thought that was going to be a tough one for Benkaim and Humphreys to come back from. But you know what? They've handled themselves well. They've played really good points. The 5-4 serve, the first point, they got a little bit loose. They gave away a loose point, but ever since then, they've been playing good, solid points again. And I think when you look at Humphreys and Benkaim, you look at all 4 players on the court, but, I think there's no shortage of talent on their side, and it's just, they've got to use it when the opportunity's right.
Czerwinskl finds the ding, finds the corner.
I think both Czerwinskl and McNerney have done a great job, especially serving to the ad side, um, of not letting Benkaim hit a big forehand return at them.
As prepared as you can be for that shot, it is still very difficult to return. Benkaim was standing right on top of that ball, and it still jumped away from him. That ball escapes the court.
The old curse of the warm weather.
Right.
A nice 10-degree night in Pittsburgh, that ball would have stayed in play.
Humphreys catches it in his pocket. I think the score is 30-15 though, right, Dave? Yes, good.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah. And now 40-15. You win this point, it'll be one of the quickest games that's been played.
Big shot there from Humphreys.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to swing at that one.
All right, Anthony, the other semifinal. Caleb Broderick had a point to go up 5-3, but it is now 4-all.
Wow.
Their third set has taken longer than the first two combined.
And in the interim here, we just went from 40-15 to deuce with a missed overhead by Graham McNerney on that last point. So no sooner did I say that was going to be a quick game, and here we are at deuce.
You see Czerwinskl and McNerney putting a lot of pressure on Benkaim over here in the ad side. They're really making him work. And again, I think rightfully so, as he is the least experienced in these matches. You know, so why not test him and see if he's going to hang in there.
Yeah, but he really hasn't really blinked there. He's made, a handful of unforced errors, but, very few. And he's controlling the balls very well over there.
And I think if you watch Humphreys, like on that last one, if he sees that they're playing Benkaim, he can't get anxious and try to win the point with one shot.
Right. Here we go, tiebreaker. Two quick points at the end of that game. One just kind of easy unforced error by Humphreys, and then a little risky shot by Benkaim trying to jump the line. So first point of the breaker.
I have to be honest, I haven't loved that overhead from the start of the match, with Benkaim trying to hit that little sharp angle into Czerwinski's corner.
Yeah, I was kind of just biting my tongue on that one. I don't know. Is that just is that a a little tiebreaker nerves or
No,
a
because
choice, but I haven't seen that too much. But yeah,
he missed one or two of them earlier, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, going, we talk about this every day, teaching that there's no angle over there. What are
there's
we?
no room. There's no room, right?
Right.
There's no room
So
over
what are we trying to create? We'll talk about that one on Monday.
there. Right, to put a little bit more high to handle.
See, on the other side of it is when Czerwinski's going with that straight ahead overhead to Benkaim, he's giving himself more room. He's not really trying to hit that side screen.
Oh, jeez.
Little slash left cord winner.
Not only that, but McNerney had a very kind of cavalier let cord volley that he put over the net and then ends the point with a let cord drop shot. So, who love? What happened there? He touched the net. Instant replay. What do we see? Oh, yes, he touched the net. He's allowed to go over the net to hit that ball once it bounces on his side of the court, but he is not allowed to touch the net.
And for all our viewers out there, you have to call on yourself if you touch your net or reach over the net.
Yes. It's interesting that you said that, Dave, because in a tournament I played in last weekend, I heard a discussion going on next to me with someone saying, no, you don't have to call that on yourself. I can call that on you if I see it. And I think it's more, it is an etiquette type of thing, but you're absolutely right. It's your responsibility to call that ball on you. I don't know how hard you fight that one, though, if you don't think you did it and your opponents do think you did it.
Unfortunately, you may have to go to the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Last week for the men, it was the Dwayne Hayden Invitational. Great event last weekend. This weekend we have the Steel City. And then, Anthony, not a ranking tournament, but next week we do in New Jersey have the New Jersey Men's League Classic.
Yes.
Once again, the draw will be full at 160 teams.
Still the largest tournament on record. I'm not sure if it is anymore, but all right, here we are at 4-1. Czerwinskl, McNerney. Tiebreakers bring out the best and worst. Let's see. A lot of composure here. That one stayed on the side of the net of Humphreys.
All right, come on, let's get one run.
Sounds like someone's not happy on a adjacent court.
No.
Serves deep. Still in it here. Humphreys to serve. 2 serving 5.
Anthony, our other semifinal, Rams Wagner lead 5-4 over Broderick Kaler in the third set.
That must be an amazing match going on over there as well. And just as Humphreys' ball didn't go over on the last point, McNerney can't coax that one over the net. 3-5. I like the way 5-4 looks in a tiebreaker rather than 6-3, so big point here. Oh, McNerney creeps forward at the worst possible time, and I don't think Humphreys knew it. I think it was completely coincidental.
Would you say that was threading the needle there?
Yeah, I think so. Inadvertently threading the needle. Don't think he caught him creeping up. I think that's where he was going with the ball, but here we are at 5-4. Oh, Benkaim jumps the line, has had success with that all day. Looked a little tentative in his motion there. 6-4 serving for the match. Double match point. Double set point, I'm sorry. Get ahead of ourselves here.
All right, Anthony, we have a final. Rams Wagner defeat Broderick Kaler 6-4 in the third set.
All right.
So they will take on the winner of this match tomorrow morning in the finals.
Humphreys steps in with a backhand. No fear. Great shot. It was there. He took it. 5-6.
Yeah, we'll play out in a while.
Well, I guess that's how that set had to end. The let cord winner bounces off the far part of the line, down the alley, 7-6. Czerwinskl, McNerney. We will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by CPTC.
So what really interested me about the trainer was the endless opportunities with it. I've gone through a couple ball machines in my career before, and this really was a technologically advanced machine that I've never seen before. Digging into it a little more in depth, I really found the opportunities to use it in my advantage. All right, ladies, just 1 minute, we'll get started. Always trying to recreate these tennis ball machines into paddle ball machines to practice, and this was the first thing on the market that really came out. We have a robust membership here, very active in the paddle community, and I think the Volley is going to kind of put us over top as a program. All right, ladies, welcome. All right, today we're going to go over our side back screens. So we've got the Volley trainer out here with us today. We'll have two on this side hitting. So the cool part about the Volley is during lessons when I'm able to use it is I really get a more in-depth connection with my clients. So when I have a lesson out on the court, I can set up the Volley to feed a screen, and I don't have to be on the other side of the court kind of yelling to them what they need to change, what they need to do while I'm hitting. I'm really using my, my time with them right next to them to make those changes quicker, so they can have more success in the long term. Bridget's on the net, Robin's sliding over. We are going to be beat by this cross-court lob a lot. I'm Blake Anderson, Director of Rackets at Fairmont Country Club. Try the volley at your club, and you won't regret it.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Fox Chapel Racket Club, bringing you the Steel City Classic. If you're just joining us, you missed a fantastic first set. Czerwinskl McNerney prevails 7-6 over Benkaim and Humphreys in the first set. We are just about to start the second set. I don't know. What do you think, Dave, on this? A lot of slight changes in momentum, no big movements one way or the other. We saw a lot of energy from Benkaim and Humphreys late in that first set. They clawed their way back, got a little bit down in that tiebreaker, and lost on a let cord winner that bounced off the line. So what do you think is, if anything, will change in the second set?
I just think, as we spoke about early on, where, again, up until Humphreys, Benkaim led the entire set up until, Czerwinskl and McNerney won the set. They were the ones kind of playing ahead, but they never really pulled ahead, even within the games of the sets, and, just even in each individual game where, they'd play 2 really good points to be up 30 love. But then the next point, they didn't get to 40 love. Or, it was 15-30. They didn't, something happened where maybe they rushed a little bit or they made a loose mistake and they didn't get to 15-40. I think when they're ahead, they've just got to focus and play those points a little bit smarter, a little bit more patient to get a little bit more separation. And again, I don't think they really need to change much other than maybe just change the patience a little bit in some of the bigger points. And you know what? I'm not saying don't go for their shots, but, maybe go for the middle of the court on some of those shots that, when they're looking to take advantage of an opportunity. But I don't think their game plan, I thought, was pretty good. Really good, actually. I mean, it got them to 7-6. Again, I just think that when they are ahead, whether it's ahead in the game or ahead in the set, they just got to take their time, focus, and try to capitalize and gain a little bit of separation.
Yeah, there's been no separation, right? And there's been no breathing room either way. So, and I agree. I've been trying to think about strategy here, and I don't really see anything glaring on either side that would need to change. And it's not necessarily an execution. There's always an execution on or off here, but very, very competitive, and it comes down to those few points and who plays them a little better. And I think that's what we'll see again this set. We'll see if the momentum carries over.
And Anthony,
like a refresher, if you're just joining us, once we have Madik Czerwinskl in the blue hat ready to serve. We have Graham McNerney at the net wearing the green headband. On the far court to receive is Chris Humphreys on the deuce court, and Russell Benkaim in the ad court starting off the second set.
And Anthony, what I was just going to say is, even if you look at the stats in the first set, I think Benkaim and Humphreys had more game points than McNerney and Czerwinskl, but Czerwinskl and McNerney were more efficient with winning them.
Back in the day, Graham McNerney would be tracking that for us.
Maybe tomorrow we'll be surprised with something in the inbox with some statistical data.
Right. Well, I believe the scorekeeping service that we're using, the one that was posted on the YouTube live streaming chat, does keep some statistics there as well. So we might actually have that information. So maybe if someone out there wants to go look around for it and let us know. don't know. Graham is certainly, that's a shot that you hit when you're really feeling it. I'm not sure coming off of a 7-6 tight first set that's the one to go with, but he must be comfortable. One of the quicker games we've seen, first set, and I mentioned it towards the late part of that first set, that after you play such an intense, mentally draining set, it really is hard to regroup, gather yourself, knowing that it's going to be probably 2 more long sets to win the match, and to wrap yourself around that and come out. And there's a real danger to getting in a hole early after a tough set like that. So not good for Benkaim and Humphreys to get too far behind. That game was a little bit too quick. We'll see what this game. I think this game, even though it's early, is super important for them to bounce back, because they don't want to start going down that rabbit hole of faster games.
And I think if you look at the first game of the second set here, Benkaim and Humphreys missed 3 returns of serve. So, Czerwinskl and McNerney, they were up 40-love with just getting their serve in.
Right. I think, right, we can see there's been even in these
I think we're having a mental letdown on both sides here.
Absolutely. It is very hard to keep up that focus. So we're going to see a little bit of a dip, and who's going to handle that dip better?
Right, who's going to rebound quicker?
Yeah. Right, it's 6 unforced errors, and who's going to correct course more quickly?
Czerwinskl playing good defense there and then turning it into offense.
And kind of stabbed a little bit at that volley. And this is kind of what you're talking about, right, with Benkaim and Humphreys getting up in the games and then not capitalizing right away. How quickly it turned.
Anthony, we have a lot of New Jersey paddle players watching. Chris Humphreys from the Short Hills Club, Russell Benkaim from Fiddler's Elbow out there watching the live stream tonight. We thank them for spending their Saturday night with us.
Yes, for sure. But we mentioned towards the end of the last set in passing, the most recent tournament was Long Island, the Dwayne Hayden Invitational, and up-and-coming, I guess I can still call them the up-and-coming team of Nunez and Salazar won that tournament, and Humphreys was also in that tournament as well, but with his more regular partner, Osis Koenig.
Come back.
That's the game I was afraid of. The momentum staying in the favor of Czerwinskl and McNerney. 2-love with McNerney to serve. McNerney's been so good at keeping, well, that's unfortunate, but McNerney's been so good at keeping the return of serve at bay for both Humphreys and Benkaim. They really haven't been able to get any good cuts off the deck from McNerney's serve, which is a significant advantage to start the point.
I think Benkaim and Humphreys have to be careful because this can get away quickly.
Right, that's what I'm afraid of, and that's this mental fatigue that we're talking about when you come off a real tough set. It takes a lot to reset.
Right, a little bit of return in the favor there with the let court winner from that backhand from Humphreys. And again, I want to see Benkaim and Humphreys win this point right here. I want a good solid point because, again, it was 15-30. They lost a quick one, a little bit of bad luck hitting the nick. They win this point now. You know, win this game on the first game point. Don't take 4 or 5 game points to try to win this one.
Yeah, that's really been the story all day, right? Is that they're just, and now that we're more aware of it and we're kind of tracking this, we see just how many times they've been up in these games, and you know, right?
There we go.
They didn't play a bad point. They got a nick. So
I mean, I think it would be
better.
amazing for their confidence and.
McNerney just waiting for that ball to come across the net. Tracks it so well. And Chris Humphreys says, I can do that too. Steps into the net. That's the most movement I've seen out of him in quite a few games. So maybe he's thinking he's got to start picking this up a little bit, creating a little bit more movement on that side of the court, being a little bit more aggressive. relatively quiet. Sometimes that's just the hand you're dealt. You're not seeing a lot of balls. You're not seeing a lot of offensive opportunities, and he is a pretty patient player.
All right, so here's the third game point. And I think in this set, to your point, you know, they've just been a little unfortunate with some of what's happened.
Okay. I'm here. Come back. Yes. No.
What a move by Humphreys. What an amazing volley by Czerwinskl.
You know, Matic directed that whole point. He really had a great variety of overhead spins, left and moved the ball really nicely. He was very comfortable up there. He really controlled that point well. Humphreys made a nice move, and Matic just volleyed it nice and deep into Benkaim's corner. What a great
I
point.
was going to say, not only did he keep it away from Humphreys, but he hit a winner.
But we're back to add out again. What is this, number 4?
Number 4.
Go, please.
Great scramble. Great scramble by Humphreys. That point was over.
And the other thing, to give Czerwinskl and McNerney credit, you know, on all these game points, Benkaim's not getting opportunities to drive the ball off the return of serve.
Right, all day. And that's what I said. It's a huge. It's like we're in this almost replay loop with the way these points are developing and ending. It's relentless net play. No breathing room.
And then there were 5. Here we go.
I saw Matic stand up straight in the middle of that point. I think he may have thought he hit the ball wide. He kind of gave up a little bit and then rejoined, but something was a little bit off there. So how important is it for Benkaim and Humphreys to win this after 5 opportunities?
Oh, boy.
And 5 missed opportunities.
Not sure what he was trying to do with that. He saw a little bit of open court, and then he was like, I probably shouldn't be aiming over there.
I know. I think he was listening to us and said, there's no way we can win this point after we just realized we've had 5 opportunities.
Damn it! Go ahead, go.
Anthony, we want to say a big hello out there to Blake Anderson from head pro director of racket sports over at Fairmount Country Club, watching us live. Former top 10 player with Martin Bostrom.
Isn't he the star of the Volley commercial as well?
He is the star of the Volley commercial. He's probably out there rooting for Marek Czerwinskl for making him a TV star.
Come on, buddy. Here we go.
Obviously, back when there was the Screen Actors Guild strike, he wasn't affected by that. He was still able to perform.
Yeah. So, trading some unforced errors back and forth, back to deuce again here.
One.
Everyone's trying to claw back their focus from such an intense first set, and I think it's coming back, but we're still seeing some.
Let's go.
That's a tough volley to make that volley at your shoestrings back at the service line.
And I thought that was really good pace there by Humphreys.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was very well placed. He was able to keep it away from McNerney at the net. It's a great shot. McNerney calls the ball out. The umpire agrees. Back to deuce. Mr. John Ma is our umpire today.
John Ma, one of the greats from Pittsburgh. I believe he started out playing with Casey Watt, I believe.
Yes, I believe. Great close. No pace on that ball. Barely made it to the back screen. Huge game. Huge game here.
All day, all right? It's okay all day.
Benkaim and Humphreys have another ad. Are you still counting? What number is this?
This is number 8, game point number 8.
Wow. So back to your comment from the first set. What's their percentage of success on game points? It's going way down right now. And that ball goes long. I can't quite seem to string two of these together.
I think at some point, if they get a game point, I want to see the Humphreys or Benkaim actually just hit a shot and try to win it. Maybe let's throw the keep the ball in play out the window.
It's one of those real aggressive 100-mile-an-hour overheads off the back screen.
There's something.
Let cord. Humphreys adjusts. And that ball goes out. All right. Number 9.
Maybe like just a drive and a blitz, something. Let's make something happen here.
Come on!
Oh, and there it is. Mata gets a little ahead of that volley, comes out, reaches for it just a little bit. That's what happens.
Lucky number 9.
Lucky number 9. What's
You know, and I think going back to the first set, and, you know, we're going to see it right away here. You know, it took them 9 game points to win the game. You know, how is that going to affect the next game of this set? You know, is it going to take its toll?
Well, did you see, and I actually was thinking of this when you were talking about it, did you just see Benkaim hug Humphreys like that's the level we're at here. Like they needed that game. I think it was huge mentally. I think it bodes well for them. I think being down 3-love would have been insurmountable with the level of focus that it takes to win points in games right now. So they're still in it.
And I think what would have made it worse is
I found the one wrench.
having as many game points as they did and not winning the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I tightened the shit up. Excuse my language. Come on, dude.
Okay, Russell Benkaim to start serving the fourth game. They are down 1-2. Chris Humphreys, the lefty at the net on the far side of the court. Graham McNerney here on the near side of the court in the ad. And Madak Czerwinskl in the deuce court.
Anthony, we want to say hello to Clay Bibby, who just got off the water from a little fishing trip, and now he's tuning in for some live stream here at from the Pittsburgh Steel City Invitational.
Good to have him back. I think we were supposed to play him in a league match a week or so ago, so I think he's been away for a while. So we mentioned, Dave, that we are on the 8th stop today in this tournament on the APTA Tour, of which there are 16 tournaments, all live streamed. We have four Grand Prix. Chicago Charities has taken place. The Philly Cricket just took place a few weeks ago. Detroit Invitational will be the next Grand Prix, January 27th through the 29th. And then, of course, the Short Hills Invitational on February 10th and 11th. Coming back this way. The Nationals this year are held at the Country Club in Brookline, Massachusetts.
Yeah, no, so again, we're just sort of in the thick of the season with a lot of big events coming up. And then once we get into April, Anthony, we have the men's and women's teams nationals again this year. The women's will be playing out of Chicago, and the men's will be in New Jersey again this year. It's open to all PTI levels. So if you're listening, get a group of your best paddle friends together and sign up for the team nationals. Again, I think last year there were close to 800 participants, and that's an event that's more and more people, as they see what goes on there and hear about it, it's getting bigger and bigger. Just it's a different type of an event where you're it's not just you and your partner. Now you have some teammates rooting for each other, cheering for each other, and it's a really good format. You and I have played on a couple of President's Cup teams together.
And it's that
That's
same
right,
vibe,
for everybody listening. That's right. Yes, I made a President's Cup team or two myself. And it really is a fun format. Anytime you have a team event, fun format.
So, as we're talking, we get to see Benkaim hug Humphreys for the second time in 2 games. And guess what? I think they are relieved that at 40-15, they only missed one game point opportunity there and capitalized on the second one. So, and they feel this, of course. It's weighing
Right.
on them that they need to win these big points, and that's a huge game for them. Like I said, to go from 3-love to potentially 3-love to 2-2 is very significant here in this set. So,
And I was going to say,
definitely-
you saw Humphreys put his arms up in the air as for victory, and it's 2-all.
That's right. But it's the only way they had a chance of staying in this set, and very important, and they executed well. So they went from for winning 1 out of 9 game points to 1 out of 2 for that second game. So let's see if they can carry that momentum. But
That was a big one for analytics.
all right.
And I think, Anthony, in this match, Czerwinskl and McNerney are they're the seeded team, so I guess theoretically they would be favored to win. But Humphreys and Benkaim can certainly win this match, but it's not going to be an easy task.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that before this started, and I didn't think there was, like you said, the scoreboard, the score sheet says one way, but I certainly thought it was going to be a close match. Russell gets another chance to step in and hit that backhand. Good to see him looking for it. Very well placed drive there. Serve goes wide. Nice pace on that drive, and now they've won 3 games in a row.
That's it. And listen, maybe they got after every game, they have to go to the hug. 3 games won, 3 hugs. All right. Anthony, do you know, in collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise. Fusion has been with the APTA for many years now. I'm sitting here wearing my master hoodie that I ordered from Fusion myself.
And here we are back. Benkaim and Humphreys lead 3-2 in the second set after being down 2-love. Chris Humphreys feeling a little bit more comfortable, hit that slash drop shot.
I was going to say that's the first time in a long time, if since the beginning of the match, that we've seen a little,
it's
pep in their
You
step.
have to be very loose to hit that shot. So really nicely played. You can see the body language is more positive now. They're really a good partnership. I like the way they're working off of each other. They're getting down on themselves sometimes when they're making questionable choices or bad shots, but as a partnership, they're really supporting each other well. And it's been productive these last 3 games. I just have word here that Patty Hogan joined us in our virtual booths. Patty, are you there? Would you like to say hello and give us some comments on what you see going on here tonight?
Hey, Anthony and Dave, you guys are calling a great match here. This is really entertaining. I just wanted to give everybody an update on the women's ongoings. We've had, as you've heard, the issue with 2 courts. And so the women's semis are playing on the side courts. We will not have the opportunity to go to them after this match because the players have the option of maybe not moving courts. And I think they have been asked and have told us they're not going to move over. So this will be it. We have Howballer and Jackson. They're playing against Banks and Granger right there. And then we have Hall and Matuka, and they're playing against Elliott and Sikora. The finals of the women's will be played 9 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Great. Thank you so much, Patty, for that update.
You guys, this is a fun match to watch.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic, and it's those ups and downs and the momentum changes and body language and momentum. All these little things that work their way into the matches have been very prevalent in this match. And just as I thought mentally that Benkaim and Humphreys were not going to be able to come back, they reeled off 3 beautiful games. They won 1 of 9 game points in the first comeback game, and then they won 1 out of 2 in the second, and then their third game was even more definitive. So they're gaining momentum as this set progresses.
Hey, Dave, I have a question for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
True or false? Fox Chapel Courts went in 1967.
That is true.
Woolley Birmingham is the guy in charge. True or false?
I might have to go with that's true.
Anthony, I won't ask you. Okay, now Anthony, I've got the question. Yeah. Anthony, here's my question. If you're Chris Humphreys as a lefty, I'm asking you as our lefty commentator here.
Okay.
He's used to playing with his buddy, Osis Koning, who is super aggressive, where Russell's playing style is very different. It looks like Humphreys is a little uncertain at times here with Russell.
Yes, and I think I touched on that once or twice earlier that He's being very patient in that corner, and I'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive to make up for what he's used to playing with, and he certainly can. He can do that. I've seen him do that many times. So I think him being a little bit more assertive would be good. But it's not always his style either. So you don't want to necessarily change your style so much so that it works against you. But yeah, I think he does have to change his approach just a little.
All right, 3-all. Again, there was the separation I was looking for.
Why? God! Come on, Russ. Let's go, bud. Right back, dude. Refocus.
I like that from Humphreys, encouraging him to, stick with it. It's only 1 point. You still have a whole half a set to go.
I remember commentating at Short Hills last year, watching a match with Humphreys and Gnosis Koenig, and I was right at courtside, and I heard Chris Humphreys do that a number of times. He's a really very, very supportive partner, and it really helps. I mean, when you miss a shot, you're not trying to miss a shot. Everyone misses shots. The last thing you need is your partner making it harder for you to focus and concentrate. So it's a really important part of the game, regardless of what's going on out there, to be supportive and positive, and it can't be understated. Overstated. Maddox saw that one coming a mile away, steps in, one of the few drop shot winners we've had all day.
Let's work for this, all right? Let's work for this one.
Yeah, Benkaim's got to stay focused here. He's missed 3 lobs this game, and
Yeah, he's dipping. His focus is dipping just a little bit.
you can't let one mistake turn into 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Anthony, just for the record, I mean, all 4 players out here are playing really well.
Right. We only pick apart what we see here, and, right? Just because there's so little to pick apart. The level of play here is just phenomenal.
And again, I think, with platform tennis, I try to explain to everyone that, everything is kind of cause and effect. And when you're looking at this level, a lot of these unforced errors could probably be classified as forced errors. They're not easy shots. They're tight to the screens. They're hit slowly. There's a lot of spin on the ball. It's a little bit different than having, the ball fed perfectly flat out of the volleyball machine to you.
That's right. And yeah, at this level, it's a relative term, unforced error, right? Because we expect them to get just about everything, and most can get just about everything. So.
And Dave, the volleyball machine shoots out balls with spin if you want it. I don't think they have that betting against you yet.
I know. I almost said that. I had our volley machine set up the other day, putting a lefty spin into the ad corner to generate a side back screen that was shooting out, and it worked really well.
Think about that. It can generate lefty spin. That's amazing.
When one of the One of the groups asked about how to handle a certain shot, and guess what? You know, we don't see a lot of lefties. Can we see more lefties spin off the screen? Sure, we can. A little flinch from Graham. McNerney just wasn't quite ready for that. That's a tough one to.
And you saw Graham kind of sliding over little by little because he kind of felt it was coming, and then he just didn't go for it.
He usually takes that ball.
Yep, absolutely.
And he should have. There's no way Czerwinskl would have been able to anticipate that with the way Graham plays the net.
Yep, and the other thing I'd like to add is Russell's two-hander there forced Graham McNerney, who's about 6'3", to bend his knees. Graham's volley style, McNerney's is a little bit more, he's upright a lot on the net compared to some other players.
Yes. So, kind of counter to this, how this set's been progressing, Benkaim and Humphreys were down in that game 40-15 and came back to win 4-3. Really, right? And we talk about the momentum shift. The first game that they won, they struggled and had 9 opportunities. The next game, 2. The next game they were up. They won with 1 game point, and this game they fought from behind. So really the focus has been stronger and stronger this set.
And even this set, it's again, we're still seeing, you know, the ups and downs through the set where, you know, it was 2-love, then it was 3-2 for Benkaim and Humphreys, then it was 3-all, now they're back up 4-3, and, you know, again, you know, for the sake of their team, again, they want to look to hold this serve here and gain some separation.
Steve and Anthony, I didn't watch all of the first set. I'm kind of going in and out here. But I've got to say, Dave, I am so impressed by Benkaim's ability to just speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. And he just has that instinctive ability, it seems, at 23 years old, to know when to do what out here. And that's always the challenge when you see phenomenal talent coming into this game. And, you know, this is a year where we're seeing some rising stars who seemingly come out of nowhere. And Russell didn't come out of anywhere, but I'm really impressed with his play.
Yeah, no, I think, as I said to Anthony earlier on, you know, a lot of the newer players we're seeing, they're doing a really good job with, you know, forcing play with hitting drives and blitzes and coming in and speeding up play with volley exchanges. And, you know, he does it pretty well. And like I said, you know, now that he works with us at Fiddler's Elbow and plays on our men's team in the New Jersey Men's Paddle League, you know, I get to see it firsthand, and it really is fun to watch. You know, it's definitely a different game. You know, a lot of these top guys, they're playing a different game.
Who's the youngest ever player on the national team that you guys can remember who immediately had an impact on the game? I'm thinking of one from Montclair, New Jersey.
I was going to say maybe
David Omuller.
Dave Omuller.
Dave O.
Right, wasn't he a junior? He started playing very, very young, right?
Junior national champ.
Isn't he the same guy that was the O in the Viking Oz?
He was the O. Big Dave O.
High school tennis teammate of mine.
Dave, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you ready? Anthony,
ready.
you won't know this, but Dave might. Junior national champion. Played with Brian Fagg from Pittsburgh. Do you remember him?
We were just talking about this the other day, and I'm not going to know it.
Okay, I'll give you. Was it Will Klebe, Anthony Cosumano, or Wayne Dollar?
I'm going to say Will Klebe.
Nice, Dave. Shout out to Wayne. Dollar created the Platform Tennis Magazine. Big Pittsburgh guy. Really was a force in helping the growth of paddle out in the Pittsburgh area. Shout out to
Patty, he's doing great things nowadays in pickleball with level up pickleball camps.
Wayne is phenomenal. Always a great guy to talk to, and really he and Lisa started an incredible pickleball camp schedule that takes them all over the place. They have a ton of pros. They're doing a phenomenal job. Congrats to Wayne. And of course, the APTA Executive Director, Ann Sheedy. Pittsburgh grown.
Big game for Czerwinskl and McNerney there. They won that definitively to bring it back to 4-4. We'll see if that creates this momentum switch again.
I think that was a really, to Patty's point from earlier, with, the maturity Benkaim has playing out there. That was such an easy ball to drive, but he just felt Czerwinskl and McNerney on top of the net, and really good decision to lob that ball.
We have an update from one of the women's semis where Hauballer, Bauer, and Jackson have won the first set 6-2 over Banks and Granger, and they are up 2-love in the second set.
McNerney finds a way to hit that slash overhead where it lands within a foot of the baseline and hits the snowboard.
That's been about the third or fourth overhead winner, flat out clean winner that McNerney's hit in the last two games.
Shout out to Morgan Czerwinskl and all the boys. They're all watching the action from Chicago. Anthony, can the volley machine return Modic's serve?
Well, I think they've tried to do that. As a matter of fact, I was successful in putting the ball back into the chute and jammed the machine. So I think they're working on that as the next feature, but not quite yet. we've seen Russell very successful with that shot today, and he's been selective in taking it. Great opportunity, up 40-30, jumps the line. Big game, 5-4.
No, he has certainly done more damage by moving up the line than he's lost points. So I think it's in his best interest to keep doing that, keep putting pressure on them. It seems to be working. And again, as well as he's been doing it, it's, we're still in a super tight match here.
And he's
I'm wondering
for that shot.
Yeah, I was thinking about, okay, so you're coaching the other guys, and you see Russell, he committed to that shot early, and he's so fast. What overhead, should they hit to avoid that shot? What do you think? Or does he make the jump so quick right when he reads it that maybe those guys can't alter their overhead?
Yeah, and that's the trick, right? He's you almost bait someone into hitting that ball. There's a few people in their careers that can jump that line at that time, and by the time he's moving, there's no way to change the shot you're hitting. So you try the best you can not to drop that ball there, but sometimes it's just the good players find a way to find that shot. And when you're singularly looking for that shot and waiting for it, it presents itself.
I think to his credit as well, he has let quite a few of them go through, and Humphreys has played it, out of the middle of the court. So he's picking and choosing his spots, and he's not really forcing it. I don't know if Czerwinskl and McNerney can really do much to change their overheads, maybe hit a few more down the middle to his side, but all in all, I think it's just a function of his movement and decision making more than it is their overhead.
Right. And I mean, if you count how many times he's had that shot, it's only been a handful, right? So it's not like it's been there all day long. And we know he's got a good forehand, so you're not necessarily going to want to drop that ball all day, soft to his forehand either, because he's going to find that ball. So, yeah, I think he's very smartly looking for that opportunity and not over looking for it at the same time. And
right,
I speaking from a little experience myself is, my two-handed backhand, that same shot on my side of the court, on the due side of the court. You kind of just live your whole day trying to set that ball up and trying to bait your opponents into, just giving up a second, just letting up a second and thinking they can get the ball behind you, and then you jump on it. And that's what he's doing today. And it's I don't think there is much you can do about it from an overhead standpoint.
And I think if you're Czerwinskl, McNerney, you're still winning this match right now. So, he's not doing it enough to be changing the outcome of the match at this moment.
What a scramble from Humphreys to get that ball. Great shot.
If they can come back and win this game, remember that shot.
Right. And sometimes that's what happens. That's how you win a game. You survive a point and things turn in your direction.
little bit of a delayed reaction there.
That's why, bro.
Let's go to the instant replay.
Not one.
We get an overrule there by the chair umpire.
I gotcha. Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Thank you.
But you know what I mean? Like maybe having
I think Humphreys still disagrees with that decision, with that ruling on the line call.
I know Ben Reed does the same thing. Like he's protected. It's crazy. But if your kids get I like and then also said there's never a say move it out. And then everything settles down. One. 180 carries. I don't need more than this.
Off the line.
And stay the night.
Well, that's what you call hanging around in a point just long enough. Chris Humphreys hit a drop shot that would have beat most people, but didn't beat Graham McNerney and ended up scrambling back to stay in that point.
Yeah, no, Graham made a great get. You know, hit a good offensive shot actually back off of that. That's some shot off of hitting the nick.
Down the line, at the shoelaces.
I'm going to have to, Anthony, throw an oldie but a goodie out there. That's a shot that only Mark Bliss can duplicate.
Mark Bliss.
APTA umpire for many years, member of the Short Hills Club. Always involved in the Short Hills Invitational.
Junior Nationals, any other time anybody needs an umpire, Mark has been a warrior for the APTA.
So this This is one of those points I feel like who's going to blink first? It's a really big point for Benkaim and Humphreys here. 40-15. They are digging in. We'll see if
It's going
we
three.
have
It's going
we
three,
have
guys.
a left court winner. I think that's just what we needed. Benkaim was not afraid to hit that ball. You got to give him credit. Great shot. Big time to hit it. Up 40-15.
You guys, you probably have touched on it already.
6-5.
But, you know, when I watch Benkaim play here, I've seen all these other guys play a million matches. We all have. We haven't seen Russell play that many matches. And he is so smooth. And what impresses me is the amount of, like, he's got so much discipline and poise with how he handles himself out here. And he just is so smooth. And, you know, you just don't see him forcing a greater pace than he's ever set up with his footwork. You know what I mean? Meaning that if he's not perfectly set, you don't see him hit off-balance shots. It's quite remarkable.
Right, and you're right. We were talking about that a little bit at the beginning, saying exactly the same thing. You know, how is he going to play? This is probably the highest, with the highest level he's played with these, three other people on the court. He's had some good success, and he was maybe the question mark on the court, but he's played under complete control, just as you said. He's never off balance. He's taking the right shots. He's not playing too tentative, nor is he playing too aggressive. So, it's like, they say, act like you've been there before, and he's playing like he's been there before. He's playing really solid. So what are the odds we see another tiebreaker here? I think they're very likely.
The word of the night, separation.
I think that's the
I think also, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Second best. No, I think that's the second one-handed backhand topspin shot that Maddox hit. And I think he does that when he gets a little bored.
What a phenomenal touch shot McNerney just hit right there, coming in. I mean, even Russell could not run that thing down. Awesome shot.
No pace. Thighs in the corner. We were talking a little bit about that before too. With all of the spins and overheads and slashes, those types of shots seem to win more points out here than anything else.
Yep, and so many times we've seen it all the time in transition play. The team will come up to the net and just like blow through a shot and miss a volley wide. Where,
yeah, right.
Yes. That's why that was so good, even though it didn't look that fancy or anything.
I think something we have to watch, and I've noticed it going back, this is probably the third or fourth game in a row that Benkaim has faulted on the first point of the game. So, again, when they're trying to create separation, those are the little things that, make a difference.
It's announcer's curse. Just when I was saying how amazing he is, he's had a little bit of a rougher game here. But again, I think the McNerney overhead is the difference here.
McNerney had such great composure that whole point, completely comfortable. But what a great setup, and Matic tries to do the right thing by protecting him with the volley and just can't quite get deep enough. Just can't quite get over far enough to cover him. That's a tough volley to make. McNerney is so good at that, where he probing's half-pace drive, brings you up to the net, lobs back where it's going to hit the baseline, and then brings you back up again. And got a really uncanny way of controlling that up and back at the net. Ball was deep.
They saved the return of serve there.
Matic decided to play it safe. He took a little pace off of that ball, but tried to guide it just a little bit.
Will this be the first game point they win on the first shot?
After being down 15-40, this is a huge comeback. Can win the set without a tiebreaker right here.
Of all the game points, this would be a good one to win.
Sure would. Get to forget about all the other ones if this one comes through,
You're
right?
certainly right.
You can see Chris Humphreys is he's loading up his lower body more in the last two games. He's really using his whole body to get the spin on that ball.
And it looks like they're playing more of these overheads into Matic's corner a little bit more. Having Humphreys take more of the overheads.
I go.
Great drive. You know, and maybe the strategy is now just, you know, McNerney is very unpredictable, right? He makes you lean the wrong way. He makes you look towards the net when you should be looking for the lob, and vice versa. And as strong as Matic is in that corner, it's more predictable. You know, it might be a better shot, but you know what's coming.
Right.
These guys don't miss. They don't miss balls that they expect. You know, the best drive in the world, when they're at the net, they're going to volley. So they're really, I think, just saying we'll take the predictability over Matic's game rather than risk Graham McNerney surprising us and keeping us a little bit off balance. And certainly when you have someone like Chris Humphreys who's able to hit fantastic overheads anyway, so, you know, why not?
I also think that having Humphreys hit some of the overheads takes a little bit off of Russell's shoulders here.
Yeah.
You know, he had a rough start to this game, and he's hanging in there, missed that volley, which was, you know, kind of surprising, actually. So I like that Humphreys, who has so much more experience, is hitting more of the overheads.
All right, set point number 2 here.
Oh, the deadly backhand overhead.
Little confusion there between McNerney and Czerwinskl on that ball.
One of the few times we've seen some confusion there, but it's really tough to handle that backhand overhead like that, as we say. So that's the second set.
Hello, this is John Weinlater with Volley, and we're here at the Philly Open having a great time. So exciting to be out here at the second Grand Prix event and seeing all the momentum that's being gathered this season. It's been great being a partner with the APTA, and we've been excited with all the momentum with Volley as well. And we're about ready to hit our 500,000th ball right now on all the trainers. So it's pretty exciting that people are finding the product and talking about it. To keep track of all the new stuff going on with Volley, follow us on social or visit our website, getvolley.com. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Fox Chapel Racket Club, bringing you the Steel City Classic. We have had 2 phenomenal sets. Our producers just told us I think are over the 3-hour mark for 2 sets.
Hard to believe we've been on the air.
I know, they won the first
That
set
long.
7-6. Benkaim and Humphreys win the second set 7-5. I think they'll take their full. I think we are allowing 3 minutes in between games, between sets right now for some words from our sponsor. So I imagine they'll take all of those 3 minutes. The match must be weighing a little bit heavier in their legs after 3 hours. So we'll see how we're going to start the second set. Anything, Patty, in your brief moments watching this match, is there anything you see that could change the momentum here for the third set?
Well, one thing I'll be curious about, Damian Johnson threw out a question. He wonders if long points will the third set, will one of the teams speed up play? And I would think if someone were to want to speed up play, it might be Marek Czerwinskl. I'm not sure that, you know, Humphreys and Benkaim will fall into that. I think they'll stay the course. I like the difference. Humphreys, I think, stepped up in that. That was a gigantic game there to help close out that second set. Really impressed with his play in that game in particular right there. I'm always impressed with him, but that was phenomenal. Anthony and Dave. And let me just give you guys a quick update on women's play. Our finals are set for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We've got Hal Baller and Jackson up against Elliott and Sikora. Elliott and Sikora took out Hall and Maturka 3-0. And Hal Baller and Jackson plowed through Banks and Granger 2-0 in their semifinal match. We're sorry we didn't get to show it to you. Not only because we had such a weird day here with the court issues going on, so we lost giving you some of the women's coverage. Hopefully we'll make up for it tomorrow morning with a great match.
Right, so we have the women's final, like you said, at 9 a.m., and the men's final will start immediately following that, 10:30 on the schedule, but as we know, it'll be subject to how long that women's finals goes. So.
And one other thing, guys, you know, like I said, I'm so impressed with Benkaim's play here, and Dave, we got to give you a lot of credit, but we got to go back to his first boss, Ken Chalmers, down at the Elk Ridge Club. Ken's up at Patterson now, and he was a really good influence professionally on a young Russell, and Russell is just, he is his star power. You can see it here, and he's got to be in the conversation. Like, I mean, I don't call him. He's not a rookie of the year, but there's a couple of these guys that they're making these other guys look slow motion to me on the stream a little bit.
Yeah, no, and as we talked about this before, Patty, these young guys, newer players coming up in the sport, they're really changing the dynamic of the game a little bit with the volley exchanges, the blitzes, speeding up, slowing down. In the past we've had guys that were really good from the baseline, are really good attackers. But, the newer players coming through from tennis or whatever rackets background they've had, or maybe not even having it, but they seem to be doing a good job of playing the faster game, but then slowing it down. And I think the big thing is they're really making good decisions as to when to speed it up, when to slow it down, when to let the ball go through. And I think that is something that's huge to be successful at platform tennis, is not only having the physical ability, but also having the decision-making, part of the game as well.
I totally agree. And we were talking about Dave Oehmiller before, and we know Dave never really volleyed much closer than a step or two inside the service line. And, as part of Dave's strategy, so many balls went through, and that's the entire game now. I think Dave was ahead of himself.
Right.
He was quite comfortable because he just knew if he couldn't get a good, if he couldn't stick a volley, he just let it go through all day long. So,
I think when we were talking about it and we mentioned, what's going to happen in this third set. I mean, if I had to bet, I think it's going to be very similar to the first two sets that we've watched here. And, I think between the first set and the second set, the only difference was, again, I think it goes back to Humphreys and Benkaim. They just won more game points in the second set than they did in the first set.
Who should hit more overheads, Humphreys or Benkaim?
Well, I think towards the end of the set, you saw Humphreys was, hitting a lot of the overheads, and he was really keeping Czerwinskl on the defensive over in the deuce corner. And let's see if they keep doing that. Again, I think I would. I mean, it worked towards the end of the set, and it's interesting to see because even there were a few times that they did hit overheads to McNerney, but they made him play the ball off the deck. Whereas when they're hitting the Czerwinskl, they want that ball getting into the screen because they don't want him hitting his forehand off the deck.
Okay, I'm going to make my pick in the third set because Vera Basanova just texted me, and she said that since I've watched, Chris has played a lot better. So she's picking Chris and Russell third set. I kind of agree.
You have to stop. You can't stop watching. That's what that means.
That's right. It's good I snuck dinner in.
To your point, though, too, Patty, if there's someone on this court that now wants to speed up play, I think you nailed it. I think it's Marek Czerwinskl, because I just saw him. I don't know if you noticed what we're watching here. He was stretching out his calf. It looked he might be cramping a little bit. I don't know if he's ready for another 7-5 set. So we will see if it changes. And guess what? I'm sure Humphreys, maybe I'm not sure that they saw that, but at least saw him stretching. But I think they sensed that as well, and I think Humphreys will be hitting a lot of overheads his way.
Yeah, and did you see Anthony also? Oh, sorry. I think in that second set, I saw even McNerney a couple times, just kind of like put his hands on his knees and just take a little extra time. He did that twice. And Graham's a warrior. He's one of the leading guys on the APTA Tour. Has had a phenomenal first half of the season, highlighted by that win in charities with Wanaraya.
Are you sure you guys didn't accidentally see me put the video on and you saw me stretching out during this match?
Dave, I don't think you've stretched in 7 years.
Ever.
What do you mean? Before every match, I bent over to pick up my paddle out of the bag.
I can't believe. Well, now you have Russell to hand it to you, right?
Exactly. Like I said to Anthony before, you can't teach 23.
So how old is Russell? Is he 23?
He is 23.
Did we get a confirmation on his age? Wow.
Yes. We had a paddle event at Fiddler's on Thursday night, and before the members asked him if he wanted to have a beer, they first asked him if he was old enough.
Okay, so 23 it is.
And he did confirm he is 23.
So it helps to be 23 in the third set after 3 hours, for sure.
What a great setup here at Fox Chapel. I love watching that fire pit. I've been seeing it all day in
I
that
know.
tent. I mean, these guys know how to hold a tournament. They do a great job. They've hosted nationals. Scott Kaler helped out when he was the pro here. And who won nationals the year it was here? Anybody know? I didn't mean to put anybody on the spot.
Give me the year. Give me the year, Patty.
I'll give you a clue. Araya Parsons, or Clebe Fegg.
I think it was Parsons Araya.
I think so.
You could have given us who Oriah Parsons played, at least to make it a little bit more interesting.
It's a long set. I'll come back.
Okay. Okay, well, if you're just joining us, after these two first long sets, Manik Czerwinskl is serving at love 40. His partner is Graham McNerney at the net at the moment. In the far side of the court, we have Russell Benkaim in the ad court and Chris Humphreys in the deuce court. Czerwinskl and McNerney are down very quickly, love 40 in this first game, and I may have blinked, but I think it was 2 faults. Dave, did you? I know there was at least one. I may have missed the first.
It was 2 faults, and actually, I'm sorry, it was a fault, a drive-through winner, and a missed overhead.
Okay.
And yep, as you mentioned earlier, Anthony, the winner of this match will take on Rams and Wagner, who took down Broderick and Kaler in the other semifinal match. 6-4 in the third set. They will, I believe, play not before 10:30 following the women's final tomorrow morning.
Right.
I heard you guys mention the Men's League Classic this weekend, the greatest event on the planet to anybody who lives in New Jersey. And Chris Humphreys and Mike Stulak won it last year. And how many are they away from catching up to the number of league classics that you won, Anthony? I want you to boast.
You want me to post?
11?
If they were to win 10 more, we would be tied.
You got 11.
I have 11. I have 11 League Classic championships with 3 different partners. One of which is David Ohlmuller, the first year he played for Brookside.
Steve Holler.
He stole me away from Steve Holler. And that was kind of a condition of him joining Brookside. He said, if I join Brookside, can we do the League Classic together? And of course, you don't say no to David Ohlmuller. So we played and won. I had a number of them with Steve Haller, and
Jeff
one with,
Hipkins?
and 2 with one of my best friends, Jeff Hipkins. So my favorite tournament, clearly.
I think this is, Dave, you were talking about separation. This is a gigantic game, I think, for
It's the word of the
Czerwinskl
night.
and McNerney.
I also
See where the energy is.
Yeah, and I think just again, as we talk about, they've been ahead the whole match. They just haven't created that separation. You know, if they can get that separation, I think you're going to see Humphreys hit a few more slash overheads and really get loose and kind of feel it. Knowing that he has a little bit of wiggle room where, so far it's been so tight. Every point, every game of this match has been, really tight.
Right, on both sides of the court, there's been very little opportunity to really get in any kind of stride, right, to start hitting more aggressive shots or playing a little bit more loose. It just hasn't been an opportunity to do that.
Right, even you look at that last backhand volley. McNerney gave Benkaim an off-speed shot, and he hit a slash winner, drop shot cut winner.
I think that's the first one we've seen from him.
Exactly,
all day, right? So, yeah, they're definitely feeling it. They're starting to feel it, which is great. I think they sense that the footwork on the other side of the court has slowed down a little bit, and if they just keep moving, that it's going to tilt in their favor.
Anthony, one of the points I love that you made in the second set is, you look up and you're hitting overheads, and who do you hit them to? You have McNerney and you have Czerwinskl. Each of them incredible talent. But your point of, if you go to Czerwinskl and that gives Humphreys more of the overheads, you know what you're going to get. You're either going to get a lob or a drive hit 90 miles an hour, right? McNerney, you don't know what you're going to get. And I feel like at this stage of the match, they've picked up on Humphreys hitting some more of the overheads, and I think they just stick with that, and they can. I think they take this match.
Yeah, I mean, 2 games. These were clearly the fastest 2 games we've seen this whole match.
Well, I mean, that last game, if you saw, Benkaim hit 2 slash winners and Humphreys hit 1. And you know what? If they could do that 3 out of 4 every points, this could be a quick set.
And we just saw McNerney just hit one completely into the side screen there. So
that's the only shot of McNerney's I have.
Yeah, we all have that one. That one's easy. Unless we tried to do it. If we tried to do it, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, if we tried to do it, we'd be John Lubau and Steve DeRose.
Come on, go, baby, come on.
That serve skips long. So we're 15-40.
Anthony, here's a question for you. They had a super long quarterfinal match, Czerwinskl, McNerney. Do you think it's starting to take its toll now?
Did they? Yeah, and I didn't know that, but clearly they are not moving very well in this third set. And when you have a 23-year-old and Chris Humphreys is in great shape, he's on the younger side too. It's going to be tough to come back from this unless Benkaim and Humphreys don't keep their composure, which can certainly happen.
Yeah, they had a battle to take out Hansen and Hirsch.
That's right.
And I think that is impacting them.
For sure. That's right.
Well, again, I think, I want to say Humphreys and Benkaim, they were done their quarterfinal match at, I want to say 2 o'clock or 2:30. So they definitely had a longer rest, and that could be the difference here.
Right, Russell had time to get another juicy box, Dave? A juice box or something?
He did, absolutely.
Juice box and Skittles. But I'm really starting to focus on the footwork on the other side. And if you watch Graham McNerney right now, he's walking in a sense of with a confidence. Now it looks like he's walking because he can't be more aggressive than that. So he's definitely not as agile as he was earlier. So for sure.
And I think Humphreys and Benkaim have to keep just playing their game. You know, they can't make any silly shots. They can't go for make any silly mistakes. They can't let Czerwinskl and McNerney, they can't let them hang around.
Yeah, and I think doing what they're doing and having a willingness to just throw up a ton of lobs just for a little bit, because these guys are showing some wear and tear here, big time.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the way McNerney hits his overhead, he needs to load up his legs and he needs to twist his trunk, and you can see him bending over right now, so he's feeling it. It's hard to produce those overheads over and over again when your lower half is tired. So clearly, but you know what ends up happening, and I think anyone who's played competitive sports knows when you see it's obvious that their opponents are struggling a little bit. Sometimes you start reading the press a little bit too early, and you change your game, and it changes things. So, but to Dave's point, they have to stay. They have to ignore what's happening on the other side of the court. They need to focus on what they're doing, and don't let anything creep back in on that other side.
Yeah, what's the time of this match now? I think Graham's hair's gotten longer during this match.
I know. It was over 3 hours when we started the third set. So, where are we? Probably 3:20.
Interesting, Czerwinskl calling the switch and moving over Graham on that display.
And I think Graham told him I can't do it. I can't hit it anymore over here.
Shout out to Lori Johnston, Damien's wife, a paddle player on the rise. She is jumping into some tournaments and having some fun out there. So we're glad she's watching. And Damien, thanks as always. You do a phenomenal job for the APTA, helping these streams run smoothly. We really appreciate your efforts.
So on that first point of this game, you saw Humphreys taking advantage and recognizing the movement issues that might be setting in. And, you know, he saw that they were off the net, and he kind of dinked the ball at them, so to speak, hit a low, soft one at their feet, and then followed it in behind them, would have made a nice volley.
Graham is really struggling here.
He's really struggling, and he's trying to hide it the best he can.
I think he's hurting. I don't know if his legs are shot, if he's got nothing in the tank right now, but he's really struggling.
His legs are shot, and you know, you do your best to hide it so that they don't pick on you more than they know they will. But he is shot.
Yeah, didn't call a switch back. Let Modic just take a rip on his forehand looking for, you know, his favorite shot. Didn't work out.
They're not even calling the switch at the net. They're just switching.
No, and did you just see McNerney let go of the paddle with his right hand and stretch it out? He's probably got a cramp in his forearm. I think he's sorry, Graham, we're picking on you, but yeah, he's struggling out there.
40-30.
Patty, have you ever had a cramp in the forearm of your dominant hand in a match?
Nah, I never hit hard enough.
I have. And
Yeah, it can't be fun.
either, but no, it is not.
Was this a 40-love game at one point?
Yeah, I'm amazed at how fast McNerney, like even with the struggle, he's playing pretty fast here. Now he's leaving the court. That actually is a great strategy right now.
Well, it looks. Is
But I
the
hope
SC
he's
rain
not
coming down.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
supposed
I'm
to come
feeling-
in.
Yeah, I see some rain coming in. I think they just turned on the heaters.
Yeah, Dave, put a hat on.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling some raindrops falling on me as I'm out here watching this match.
Forecast is not good tomorrow. We've got rain everywhere.
Now this is interesting. They had a couple of points to go up 4-love. Now it's 3-love, add out with rain.
Well, I don't think the rain's going to be an issue, unless it's really hard to tell if it's raining hard. But we still have one more game.
No, it's coming down pretty good.
But Humphreys and Benkaim already have 2 breaks in this set. And when the rain comes, if you get your serve in the box, it's really tough to break serve.
Yeah, I might have to put an umbrella or my rain hat on soon.
I see more people gathering. Oh, and that's a fault. So a little bit of what we talked about before. Benkaim and Humphreys cannot get dragged down with the energy level on the other side of the court. They have to really just play. Ignore what's happening over there.
This is where I want Humphreys to kind of take charge just a little bit. He's playing rock solid here. And, is missing nothing. I just want to see him kind of take over.
Okay, so we just got some word from our producers that the rain is coming down quite hard right now, so it's a little hard to tell on the live stream, but it's coming down.
That's got to make Graham feel better. Another winning overhead. That thing just died.
Yeah, to win that point right there, that easy, it's kind of, there might be hope.
There's hope, and, I think Benkaim's probably a little disappointed in himself in that game right there.
Like you said, though, Patty, if it is hard enough and if the court conditions do deteriorate, it really benefits the server. And we do have, we're still up a break, 3-1. But 4-love would have been better. There's always, and we've seen it. We know the advantage is strongly in the server's court there, but we've seen some 1 or 2 games or 1 or 2 breaks when people struggle on their serve in the rain, when they know all they have to do is get it in. Sometimes it gets a little harder to get it in. So having 2 breaks is better than 1.
And I think especially with the weather, if you're up 4-love, it's going to be hard with a wet court to break twice.
It's a break twice, for sure. It's hard enough to break once. It's hard enough to break once.
I think they just got to go after Russell here in the ad court.
Yeah, I think so. Oh,
And I think, Anthony, you brought up a really good point in the last game where, Benkaim and Humphreys can't play to the, energy level of Czerwinskl and McNerney. Like, they've got to keep playing at the level. They've got to be high-fiving. They've got to be positive. They can't let their slowing down slow them down.
It's super important. It really is. And you can see the water spray off the ball when Czerwinskl served that. So the weather's taken a really bad turn. So, but I can't tell you how many times that's affected my game personally, where someone looks, maybe they twisted an ankle or they're limping around or they're cramping, and it's not like you feel sorry for them or you feel bad, but you just change your approach a little bit because you think it's going to be easier. So you really can't fall into that trap. I remember early on in my career someone saying, don't look at them. Forget about it. Don't, just ignore it. And you really have to.
Hey, Patty and Anthony, did you guys know Volley is the official sponsor of the APTA for the 2023-2024 season? Backed by cutting edge.
I did, Dave.
All right, well, let me tell you a few things about them. Backed by cutting-edge technology, including its unique vision software, Volley is the innovator of the first all-enabled racket sports training experience that simulates point play. By enabling players and pros to record sessions on the court, Volley also delivers off-the-court player analysis and support, all from your phone. It takes only minutes to sign up. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today. For more information, visit getvolley.com.
Dave, that was a beautiful read.
Thank you.
I was just thinking that myself. So they're taking some time off the court, grabbing some towels.
Yeah,
I like
and you know how
I like being up 4-1 in the rain.
right, and you know there's always hope. And Chicago is rooting big time for a big comeback here for McNerney and Czerwinskl, and everything's possible in the sport of paddle. And you know somehow if they can hold on and you know go 2-4 and down in the set. Sometimes when you don't feel very well, you feel a little better when it's a little closer in the third.
So
And
here's
you
a
know, the end is near. You know, when you're hurting and it's only the beginning of a third set, sometimes it's mentally, besides being physically daunting, it's mentally daunting at times. And then you get a little later in the set here, and then it's like, let's go, you know. You know, it's now or never, and sometimes that just frees you up a little bit.
Yeah, and I'd imagine at least in Graham McNerney's head right now, he knows the points are going to go faster, which means he doesn't have to conserve any more energy, right? Just like you said, that we only have so much left to play. It will definitely change his approach. He's going to expend a little bit more energy. He doesn't have to hold anything back at this point. And we know with all of their overheads and their spins, the points are going to be shorter. So, yeah, that definitely is going to be at least mentally work in the favor. You know, well, at least help prop up McNerney and Czerwinskl here. So we'll see.
But Humphreys has the ball, serving, lefty, spin,
Lefty
wet
spin
court.
in the rain.
My money's on him to hold.
Yeah, if I was an odds maker, I wouldn't really be heading the other way, but
I was thinking it was the other team's serve. I messed that up. Oh.
yeah, that's the problem.
And I think also what made this a really good overhead is Humphreys aimed, you know, right at Czerwinskl. He didn't try to hit it away from him. He just went right at him.
Morgan is not going to be happy with that shot. Not Allison, not Adam. Morgan Czerwinskl. Had to clarify the Morgans there.
So it becomes really hard, especially, you know, when you have the spin, it almost, the ball usually actually bounces the opposite direction of the spin, or potentially even kind of generate speed, if that's even physically possible. As it hits off the deck, it actually accelerates, making it so unpredictable that it's really hard to keep the ball in the court.
Yep, and I think McNerney is hurt. He really couldn't even make a play on that. You know, his body's not cooperating.
And he knows if he lunges for a ball in this weather, the way he's feeling right now, it's not going to.
What a great
You see the shot that Benkaim just made?
Oh, that was so cool.
Was that a no look behind his back? And then he just made another great get.
That was a 23-year-old cat.
Yeah. Let's see. That wasn't quite the one, but I think he wasn't even looking in the direction of the ball when he hit it.
Come on, Ruff. So bad. No. It's just a soft drive there. It's a soft drive.
Wow. Chris is lucky he didn't get hurt.
I know. You put the hand up.
I'll tell you, being up 5-1 receiving, I'm surprised Benkaim and Humphreys even lobbed that many balls. I would have thought they would have tried driving more just to prevent the, hydroplane overheads.
Dave, this is the thing. He's only 23. He doesn't know as much as you.
Right. Well, so isn't it interesting, though, right? Even in these last two games where it started raining, I think we've seen 6 faults now with Benkaim faulting again. I don't know why that happens, but when you just have to get the ball in to win, we see more faults. That one may have even been wide, but they played it. And it's super important.
Oh.
As Humphrey slides like an ice rink across there. Now it's love 40 because we have 2 faults. And
we're in Pittsburgh. I mean, he must be a Penguins fan.
Right.
On the ice.
3-fault game.
Like in the rain, that's just, you can't have that. You can't fault 3 times when it's, sunny and 58 degrees. When it's raining, you really can't fault.
You really can't, but I will tell you, it happens more. It's uncanny how many times I see this happen in rainy weather. Maybe there we go. Maybe we're over-hitting it. Maybe we're under-hitting it because we change the way we do it because we know just getting it in basically is going to win the point, and we change.
I always found it hard looking up and having the rain hit your face and your grip. You can't hold on to your grip, and there's a million reasons why it's so hard.
Exactly.
Well, I think if you look here, Czerwinskl is just going to the old school, hit it flat and let it hydroplane.
Right.
Whoa.
It does. The flat serve is the most effective. Because it has just a little bit of underspin on it, which just makes the ball just kick it.
All right, look at this. Look at this thing take off.
Yeah, it's not even safe out there right now.
You guys are the heaters on, or they just can't even keep up?
Well, I think they can't keep up because I think right when we saw the rain start, I saw McNerney walk and flip a switch on the outside of the court. But okay, so now we're 5-4. We had that one break that we were worried about or that we talked about could happen when we fault. And let's see.
Yeah, we're going to see Humphreys. Humphreys is strapping this game on, trust me.
I think so. I think the experience of Humphreys and his mental fortitude, I think we're okay, but we'll see what happens here.
Whoa.
That was a fault.
What a great get from McNerney right there.
Great get. We need to make 8 great gets to win a point on that side, so. 5-ball.
There comes a point where I guess they can't stop because it's not going to stop raining.
No.
You just wonder.
It's a shame, but.
Yeah, once it deteriorates like this.
Double match point.
All right,
there we have
it.
6-7, 7-5, 6-4. Benkaim Humphreys win. They will be back tomorrow. So that's a wrap from the Steel City Classic. Remember to join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the women's finals. And join us at 10:30 or immediately following the women's finals for the men's final.
Bring your umbrellas.
Are we supposed to get rain all day tomorrow?
We are.
Okay, well, bring your umbrellas. We'll see how that plays out. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.
So what really interested me about the trainer was the endless opportunities with it. I've gone through a couple ball machines in my career before, and this really was a technologically advanced machine that I've never seen before. Digging into it a little more in depth, I really found the opportunities to use it in my advantage. All right, ladies, just 1 minute, we'll get started. Always trying to recreate these tennis ball machines into paddle ball machines to practice. And this was the first thing on the market that really came out. We have a robust membership here, very active in the paddle community, and I think the Volley is going to kind of put us over top as a program. All right, ladies, welcome. All right, today we're going to go over our side back screens. So we've got the Volley trainer out here with us today. We'll have two on this side hitting. So the cool part about the Volley is during lessons when I'm able to use it is I really get a more in-depth connection with my clients. So when I have a lesson out on the court, I can set up the Volley to feed a screen, and I don't have to be on the other side of the court kind of yelling to them what they need to change, what they need to do while I'm hitting. I'm really using my time with them right next to them to make those changes quicker so they can have more success in the long term. Bridget's on the net, Robin sliding over. We are going to be beat by this cross-court lob a lot. I'm Blake Anderson, Director of Rackets at Fairmont Country Club. Try the Volley at your club and you won't regret it.